Tom Bower has just set off a major storm, and Meghan Markle's legal team is reportedly scrambling to keep up. The well-known royal biographer, famous for digging deep into powerful figures, has raised serious questions about whether the Duchess of Sussex has been truthful about her age for more than 20 years. And the material he claims to have gathered is raising eyebrows everywhere. We're talking about old magazine archives, university records, statements from people connected to her past, and a timeline that some say doesn't quite line up. Put together, it creates a story that feels almost too dramatic for Hollywood.
I thought, what is she not contextually aware of? She's trying to hide something. This is really sloppy.
But here's what makes this situation stand out from the many headlines Meghan has faced before. This time, the claims are said to involve paperwork and recorded sources that investigators rely on. Documents, official records, and historical listings that researchers often treat as hard evidence. And according to reports circulating in royal commentary circles, Meghan is said to be extremely upset about the accusations and the attention they're getting.
I think the palace and the machinery of the monarchy needs to take Harry and Meghan more seriously and make sure that Harry and Meghan's antics don't impact the future of.
To understand why this claim is getting so much attention, you have to know who Tom Bower is. He's not just another gossip writer chasing headlines. Bower is a longtime investigative author in Britain with a reputation for digging through years of records before publishing anything. He has written detailed books about powerful figures like Robert Maxwell, Mohammed Al-Fayed, Simon Cowell, and even Prince Charles. His investigations usually take years. He interviews dozens, sometimes hundreds of sources, and checks documents carefully before putting his name on a story. In 2022, he released a book titled Revenge: Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors. The book caused a massive stir because it portrayed Meghan as highly ambitious and strategic in navigating the world around her.
If you could choose one thing for people to know the truth about you, what would that one thing be?
The one thing, oh gosh, what's the one thing?
One part of the book drew especially intense attention, the section about Meghan's early life and her timeline in Hollywood. According to Bower's interpretation of the records he reviewed, some dates and details appear confusing or inconsistent. Meghan's widely reported birth date is August 4, 1981, which would place her in her mid-40s today. However, Bower suggested that certain documents he examined raised questions about that timeline. If his interpretation were correct, the difference would not be small. It could shift the timeline of several moments in her early career. And when Bower spoke publicly about these claims, royal watchers say the reaction from Meghan's side was immediate and intense, with advisors reportedly moving quickly to push back against the allegations.
There are so many telltale signs that something is clearly wrong with Meghan. And I don't mean it in a bad way, but I mean, how can you get your age so wrong? Did you know that in 1997, when she met Yasmin Bleeth, when she claims that she was working for Humphrey Yogurt, age 13, she also, or somebody with the name Meghan Markle, filled out a questionnaire for Sears, the company, claiming that she was 21 years of age.
Let's start with the moment that sparked the biggest debate. Back in March 1997, 17 magazine published an article that listed Meghan Markle as 21 years old on page 90. That detail quickly caught attention once people began reviewing the old issue. If Meghan's widely reported birth year of 1981 is correct, she would have been about 15 or 16 at that time, not 21. That creates a difference of several years, and critics immediately pointed to it as a major inconsistency. Tom Bower didn't simply stumble across the article and repeat it online. According to his research, he went digging through physical magazine archives and verified the publication date carefully. He confirmed the issue was real and that the age listed in the feature appeared exactly as printed. This left observers with two possibilities being debated. Either the magazine made a significant error about someone who was not widely known at the time, or the information around the timeline may have been misreported somewhere along the way. And the discussion didn't stop there. Bauer also pointed to an older version of Meghan's IMDb profile that reportedly listed her birth year as 1977 instead of 1981. That raised even more questions among people following the story. Why would a professional acting database show a different birth year than the one that later appeared in official biographies? Some entertainment insiders note that in Hollywood, age can influence casting decisions. Actors sometimes adjust how their profiles appear so they can fit certain roles. Whether that explains the change or not is still debated, but Bauer claims he saved screenshots of the earlier listing to support his findings.
But what they need to do is face up to the blackmail that's coming from California and in some way or other undermine Harry's and Meghan's credibility.
Then there's Northwestern University, Meghan's alma mater. Official records state she graduated in 2003 with a degree in theater and international studies, reportedly at age 22. On paper, that timeline looks straightforward. However, Bauer says he looked deeper into that period. He reviewed alumni directories, tracked down former classmates, and examined old Northwestern group photos. According to him, many of the students from that same circle today appear to be in their early to mid-50s rather than their early 40s. One photo in particular gets mentioned often, the Northwestern Salsa Club group picture. Meghan is seen smiling in the back row with several other students, and critics say that image has become another piece people are examining closely while trying to make sense of the timeline. Tom Bauer reportedly went even further with that Northwestern photo. He tracked down several people who appeared in the picture and asked them a simple question: when were they born? According to Bauer's account, many of them gave similar answers, saying the early 1970s. That detail immediately raised more speculation among people studying the timeline. Critics began asking an obvious question. If Meghan was truly born in 1981, that would mean she was around 20 while spending most of her time with classmates who were roughly a decade older. Of course, that can happen at universities, but some observers still found it unusual and started debating what it might mean.
One former classmate who reportedly spoke with Bauer anonymously made a claim that caught attention. The person allegedly told him, "We all knew Meghan was older than she claimed." The source added that at the time it didn't seem like a big deal. According to the account, it was something people brushed off and moved past. But now that Meghan is a global public figure, the topic has suddenly become much more controversial. Because once people begin questioning one detail, they start wondering about everything else connected to the timeline. That curiosity is what has kept this story circulating across royal commentary channels and media discussions. Then the situation took another unusual turn involving Meghan's father, Thomas Markle. Since Meghan married Prince Harry, Thomas has given many interviews discussing her childhood, their relationship, and family tensions. But when interviewers reportedly asked him directly about Meghan's birth year, his responses were described as surprisingly vague. Tom Bauer says he personally asked Thomas Markle the question while researching his book. According to Bauer's recounting, Thomas paused before answering and said something unexpected. "You should check the records yourself." He didn't immediately confirm a specific year in that exchange, which only fueled more speculation online. Bauer also spoke with Samantha Markle, Meghan's half-sister. Samantha was born in 1964. Meghan has publicly suggested there is about a 17-year gap between them. However, Samantha reportedly told Bauer that the difference is smaller than what has been described, adding yet another layer to the ongoing debate surrounding Meghan's early timeline. Samantha Markle shared another detail that Tom Bauer highlighted during his research. She reportedly told him, "We were closer in age growing up than people realize." That comment sparked even more discussion about the timeline people have been debating online. If Meghan's birth year is 1981, that would place about a 17-year gap between her and Samantha, who was born in 1964. In that case, Samantha would already have been a teenager when Meghan arrived.
But critics examining Bauer's claims argue that if Meghan were born earlier, around the mid-1970s, the gap would shrink to something closer to 9 or 11 years. That would make them much closer in age during childhood, which Samantha says matches her own memories of having a younger sister she could actually spend time with and play with growing up. Then there's Meghan's acting career, another part of the timeline that people have started picking apart. If she truly was born in 1981, she would have been about 25 years old when she appeared as a briefcase model on Deal or No Deal in 2006. For many observers, that age seems perfectly normal for someone starting out in entertainment. But Bauer's research claims the bigger story is what happened before and around that time. According to accounts from people who followed her early career, Meghan spent years in the early 2000s auditioning for almost anything she could find. Small parts, background appearances, commercials, and minor roles in television shows that barely lasted. Many actors go through that phase, of course, but critics studying the timeline say the length and pattern of those struggles caught their attention. In the entertainment industry, casting can sometimes revolve heavily around age ranges. Some insiders say that once an unknown actor moves past their early 30s, it can become harder to land certain types of roles, because productions often look for younger faces for entry-level characters. When Bauer looked at Meghan's career path, he argued that the pattern resembled someone trying to hold on to opportunities in a very competitive system. Meghan eventually landed her breakout role as Rachel Zane on Suits in 2011, which became the turning point in her career. If the commonly reported birth year is correct, she would have been about 30 when the show started. Some critics point out that if she had been significantly older, the casting might have been unusual for that particular character, which is why this debate about dates and timelines keeps getting people talking. According to Tom Bauer's research, another moment that raised eyebrows happened after the birth of Prince Archie in May 2019. When Archie's birth certificate was first filed, it reportedly listed the usual details. The mother's name appeared as Rachel Meghan Markle, which is Meghan's full legal name. Everything looked standard, official, and permanent, just like most birth records. But then, a few weeks later, something changed that quickly caught the attention of royal watchers. The document was reportedly amended, and Meghan's first and middle names were removed. Instead of Rachel Meghan Markle, the certificate listed her simply as Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex. That unusual adjustment sparked a wave of questions across royal commentary circles. Tom Bauer says he looked closely into the situation while researching his book. According to accounts he shared, changes like that are considered extremely uncommon for royal birth certificates. Some palace insiders allegedly told him they could not recall another example where a mother's full name was replaced in that way on such a document. That raised the obvious question people began asking: why make the change at all? Bauer proposed his own theory while discussing the issue. He suggested the change might have been intended to reduce how easily official documents could be connected through a legal name. When someone's full name appears on records, investigators can sometimes cross-reference it with other documents, such as school records, previous paperwork, or passport applications. Bauer speculated that using a royal title instead of a legal name could make certain types of record searches more complicated. Critics who follow his work say that possibility added another layer to the ongoing debate about timelines and personal history. Supporters of Meghan, however, argue the change may have been routine or administrative and not unusual at all. When Bauer's book Revenge was released, it created immediate headlines. According to reports from media outlets covering the situation, Meghan's legal team strongly rejected the claims in the book. Lawyers reportedly sent warnings to the publisher and described several of the accusations as inaccurate and defamatory. But the controversy didn't fade quickly. Bauer stood by his reporting and pointed to the sources he said he used during his investigation: archival material, records he reviewed, and interviews with people connected to the story. After the book's release, Meghan herself did not publicly address the specific claims discussed in the chapter. There were no detailed public explanations about the birth year debate circulating online. That silence has been interpreted in different ways depending on who you ask. Critics say it raises more questions, while supporters argue ignoring speculation is often the best response when rumors spread. Critics who follow this story often make the same argument. They say if the timeline were completely clear, releasing documents or detailed records could end the debate quickly. In their view, showing definitive proof would shut down the speculation once and for all. But Meghan has not publicly addressed the specific claims raised in Tom Bower's research, and that silence has kept the conversation alive in media circles. According to sources Bower referenced in discussions around his book, some people believe the situation is complicated because different records from the past might not line up perfectly with the story that is now widely reported. Supporters of Meghan strongly dispute that idea and argue the claims are exaggerated or misinterpreted. Still, the lack of a direct response has left room for ongoing speculation. Then there's the legal angle that Bower explored while researching the topic. He reportedly spoke with several legal experts about hypothetical scenarios involving incorrect information on official documents. Lawyers often explain that if someone knowingly provides false details on certain legal paperwork, such as contracts or government filings, it can create serious legal issues depending on the situation and the country's laws. Some experts told Bower that if false information were ever proven on marriage documentation, it could theoretically raise questions about the validity of certain legal agreements. However, legal specialists also emphasize that situations like that are extremely complex and would require clear evidence, formal investigations, and court decisions before anything significant could happen. Bower also discussed how biographical information can matter in the business world. Contracts with media companies, production partners, or other organizations sometimes rely on accurate personal details. If major facts were ever shown to be incorrect, disputes over agreements could potentially arise. At the moment, though, these discussions remain largely theoretical and part of ongoing media debate. No court rulings or official findings have confirmed the claims circulating in commentary about Meghan's timeline. Some commentators who follow Tom Bower's investigation argue that serious inaccuracies were ever proven in official records or contracts, the consequences could be significant. In extreme cases involving misrepresentation, legal disputes or financial claims could happen. That possibility, according to Bower's critics and supporters alike, is why the topic has generated so much intense discussion. Bower suggested that the stakes could be high if any claims about incorrect information were ever proven true. For public figures with major media deals and global partnerships, reputation and credibility play a huge role. Even rumors can create pressure, which is why controversies like this tend to spread quickly across news outlets and online platforms.
Then the conversation takes an even more dramatic turn. For years, there have been rumors circulating online claiming Meghan may have had an older daughter from a past relationship, a daughter who would supposedly be an adult today. These claims have appeared repeatedly in internet discussions and gossip forums. However, it's important to note that Tom Bower did not confirm that rumor in his book. He also did not present evidence proving it happened. What he did mention was that he believes there are gaps in parts of Meghan's early timeline that some critics say are unclear. People who speculate about those gaps sometimes try to connect them to different theories about her past. If Meghan's birth year were earlier than widely reported, some claim those gaps might appear differently when placed on a timeline. But as of now, there is no verified proof supporting the claim that Meghan has an older daughter. The idea remains part of online rumor and speculation, rather than confirmed fact. Still, Bower's book has reignited debates among critics who question various parts of Meghan's public story. Interestingly, Bower never directly declares what he believes Meghan's real age to be. Instead, he presents the records, interviews, and claims he gathered during his research and leaves readers to draw their own conclusions about the timeline he examined. In the end, Tom Bower leaves readers with a very strong conclusion. According to his interpretation of the information he reviewed, he believes Meghan Markle has not been fully transparent about important parts of her personal story.
Bauer argues that the concerns raised in his research go beyond just questions about age. In his view, the debate stretches into other areas of her biography, including parts of her background, family relationships, and the path that eventually led her into the royal spotlight. Bauer's critics strongly disagree with his conclusions, while supporters believe his investigation raises serious questions that deserve answers. What makes the situation so explosive is how different the interpretations are. To some observers, Meghan is a misunderstood public figure, constantly targeted by speculation. To others following Bauer's work, the story suggests a carefully managed public image that may not fully match the private timeline. The debate has become one of the most talked about controversies surrounding the Duchess of Sussex. Is the widely reported timeline completely accurate, or are there pieces of the story that still haven't been fully explained? Those questions continue to fuel endless discussion across royal commentary channels and media outlets. One thing is certain, until clear records or official clarifications settle the issue, people will keep debating the details. Questions about timelines, documents, and past events are not disappearing anytime soon. What do you think about this investigation? Do the claims raise real concerns, or is it all just speculation blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you want more deep dives into royal stories and investigations like this, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others who follow the royal drama. Turn on notifications so you never miss the next story, because there's always another twist waiting to be uncovered.